I'm going to talk today about continuous integration. So I've got a little bit disclaimer. Maybe if you're an expert of continuous integration, Jenkins and stuff like that, you won't learn so much here. Because my aim is to explain continuous integration from the beginning, for the beginners, to what we can do with it. So this is just to say, I prefer to say it before. So I've got some questions for you. How many of you have never heard about continuous integration? Don't be ashamed, it's okay. Okay, we got two guys, okay? I'm pretty sure there's more, but okay. How many of you use continuous integration at work? Okay. Little bit than okay. So, as I said, I'm Remy. I'm an iOS developer since 3 years, something like that. So I've been consulting for banks and stuff like that. And now I'm just joined this project. It's called Lima. I'm making the iOS apps for this project. We are back on Kickstarter. Does anyone have heard of us or not? Do you guys know Kickstarter? Yeah, okay. So at the beginning, this guy just asked this summer for $70,000, and they've got something like more than 1 million. So that was a really good surprise for them. And then they hire some people like me to develop the product. Here, just a little introduction to what we are doing at Lima. At Lima, we think that 10 years ago, storage was not a really big problem because one user got one device and one memory. But today we've got a problem because you've got your iPhone, you've got your iPad, your Android, your tablet, you've got your Mac at home, you've got your Mac at work, Linux, whatever Windows, and you've got a lot of memory and a lot of file. And it's really hard to say, oh, I forgot this file at work, I forgot this. So some really smart guy just went to cloud to solve this problem. But at Lima we think that cloud is almost like a patch. So we really believe in something like a unified memory, which you got your all memories, can be 1 terabyte, 10 terabyte, whatever, and all the device should ask for your data. So this is what we're building now. It's still in early stage. We didn't ship. We will ship in April. So if you got questions, it would be a pleasure to answer after. And of course, we're hiring for good people. So let's get started. Why? I think it's really important to start with why. Why continuous integration is important. We're in the industry that we've got a lot of problems. I think there's a lot of money that are spent in IT. For example, I see some banks that spending some millions of dollars on project, and the project won't go in production. They won't ship, nothing. But they just spend money and whatever. It's really strange. And if you think about that, I think it's just happened on IT. If you think about automotive industry, for example, 1 penny is 1 penny. They can't afford that loss. So we're quite lucky to that. And one other problem with IT is that, software, we've got a lot of bugs. But it's okay, it's bugs. It's like that. In the automotive industry or in the medical stuff, they can't afford that. They can't afford bugs. It's not possible to happen. But for us, it's not a problem. I mean, it's a problem, but it's like life. Continuous integration will help you to do two things. It will help you to ship more often. With continuous integration, you will be able to ship, for example, every day, every week, every month, every time you want. You can ship faster, easier to production. Production, when I say production, it's more for web project, for an apps, including iOS apps. It's a little bit more difficult. And continuous integration will help you to measure quality, the quality of your code, which is really important, and it will help you to reduce the amount of bugs. Of course, continuous integration is always a matter of context. If you're building a big app for banking app, stuff like that, or if you're just building a small project for hackathon, maybe you won't need a continuous integration solution, or maybe you will need something really big, something that you can trust on it. So let's see, how does it work? So you've got your workstation where you develop your code. You've got several developers, everyone pushing the code to the same repository. Can be GitHub, Subversion, whatever, we don't care so much. And your continuous integration solution will fetch the code source and build it. If it fails, you will get an alert. It can execute unit tests too. And it can generate metrics about your code, if there is some quality, if there is a lot of warning or not, stuff like that. It can generate documentation too, which is really important, because if you write code, you've got to write documentation, not for you, for other developers that are not yet working on the project, for example. And it can execute your functional tests. We don't do that so much on the iOS because it costs a lot of time. But if you're doing that with Kif or Calabash, project like that, it's of course scriptable, so you can automate it. And of course, it can publish your app. So you can publish your app with a third app like TestFlight, OK app, whatever. So this is just the basic of continuous integration, just to help everyone has the same image in mind. And we've got two kinds of solution. We've got the one that you must install on your hardware. So it should be at your office. For example, it will be Jenkins, bots, and you want the other solutions that are in the cloud. There is a lot of continuous integration solution, of course. I just put a little bit here. So today we're going to speak about Jenkins and bots. Why? Because Jenkins is the most known solution on continuous integration. It's really easy to install. And one of the great things is open source, so there is a huge community of developers behind Jenkins, and you've got a lot of plugins. I won't go too deep in the installation process because it can be boring for the guys that know how to install it, and if you don't know, it's really easy. There is a lot of tutorial on the internet. So this is a list of all your jobs. The three first one are C, are code in C, and after we got some iOS job, we also have Android and other platform jobs. So Jenkins can run almost every code. Jenkins comes with plugins, so you've got a plugin for everything. You have a Chuck Norris plugin, for example. It doesn't help so much, but so you install your plugin. On sysdom, you can have a great screen like that helps you to have metrics on your code. For example, you can have the test result trend. This is the first one. You can have the test coverage, the number of line of code you can see growing on the project. So that's it. You just have to install small plugin. Create a job. So create a job is the main thing. So you say, okay, this is my code. My code is on this project, this GitHub project, and I want to do this action on my call. So if it's an iOS project, I will use Cocoapods. Cocoapods is a dependency manager. So you've got a plugin that will fetch all your dependency and will install them. And you've got another plugin behind. It's a Xcode plugin. So you just have to say, I'm building the app with the schema Lima, the workspace is Lima, and you're gonna build the app. So after you're gonna say, I want to test this app, I want to package an IPA. IPA is like APK for Android. And that's it with plugin. So as you can see, it's really easy. We also can do it by script. So this is basically the same. We're doing here a pod install which fetch all your dependencies, install them. And we've got two Xcode build. So this is gonna build the Lima project with a special configuration file, and we're gonna archive the app. On this archive, we can just export the archive to an IPA file, which can be installed on iOS device. Once this done, you just have your IPA file, so you can upload it to TestFlight or OKApp to give him to your tester. So I show you two ways to do it, with plugin or with script. Why? Because some things are not easily to do with plugins. Some things are impossible to do with plugins. For example, well, first I've got to say, with plugins it's always easier. You don't have to look at the documentation. Everything is well explained in Jenkins. But sometimes you can't do so much with plugins. For example, Cocoapods plugin, if your pod file that describes all your dependencies is not in your root folder, it won't work. Running unit tests with Xcode plugin can be really painful. And with a script, if I go back here, you just have to add a build action here. You just have to add test and it will run a test. So it's really easy with a script. So that's it. You can enjoy. You set up all your build and everything is fine. But sometimes the build failed. And you need to know it. When your build failed, you get to alert to get an alert because you need to know, oh, I broke the build, what did I do wrong, and fix the code and commit again. So to get alerted, there is several ways. The basic alert will be an email, so you just have to connect an SMTP server to your Jenkins. You will get an email each time you broke the build. You can have Growl notification for those who are on Mac, which is really useful. Growl will, Hudson and Cocoa will pull your Jenkins to know if there is some news about your Jenkins builds, and will pop up notification. Or you can connect Jenkins to real life, like that. So you can find some source code, and I put the link of the GitHub here. This guy just automated that. So if, for example, John broke the build, he will get it. So you just have to say John position is X, Y, Z here, and it will be smashed. So, okay, so enough with Jenkins. Now we can talk a little bit about. So bots, Apple introduced bots with Xcode 5 and iOS 7. So just this summer. What do you need? You need a Mac, of course, with the last version of OS X. You need OS X server, which is just an application. So it's cost something like $20, 20 euros, sorry. But you can have it for free if you've got an iOS developer license. And of course, you've got Xcode. If you're not enough rich to buy another Mac, you can run it on the same machine as your development machine. It works. So setup. Setup is really easy. Just install Xcode server, OS X server, Xcode, activate Xcode as a service, and it's okay for the setup. You just have to, after connect to your repository, where is your code, you can host your code on your OS X server if you want, or you can connect to a GitHub or whatever. I found a lot of error during setups. So sometimes it's just impossible to get the source code. My source code was on GitHub, and I didn't want to do an authentication by login password. I wanted to use DeployKit from GitHub because it's the right solution to use. So on my Mac, I've got a session, a user, but it's not using this user to check out the code. It's using Team Server. So Team Server is a user that is just for building your bots, integrating your bots. So you've got to add the DeployKit to Team Server to your GitHub account. Once it's done, I get the code. I was just trying to build an app, just building. And he tried to build the app with the SDK iOS 7, which is something ridiculous, I think, because if I just want to build, you can use another SDK, like the simulator, and it will be easier. You don't have the code signing problem and stuff like that, so this can be really improved. To solve this problem, you got to get your provisioning profile on the Mac server, so just connect your account through Xcode, so that's easy. There's two kinds of people. there's a kind of people that commit your pods and those that don't. The debate here is not to say which one is best. I prefer to don't commit them and to fetch them because for example, I always want the latest version of IO networking, for example. So I just want to do a pod install each time I get the source code. Well, if you commit your pods, it will be easy to run bots. But if you don't, it will be really painful, as it was for me. So this is a security fail. I totally assume that, but I won't recommend you to do it. I did it just for test after I remove. So you've got to edit sudo file, because the main problem is that our user team server, which is used by Apple to download your code and execute it, integrate it, it doesn't have an access to a shell. It's not a root user. So you've got to say that for this user, don't ask password for sudo shown, change owner, and pod. So yeah, this is a security fail. Why are we doing that? Because you need to download your pod before building the app. Otherwise, you won't build. So this is just for doing a pod install. The line is here, pod update. And we've got to change the owner to another user on the Mac, which is root, and can update the pod and change again the owner. I found this on the Cocoapod mailing list. So. But it's really, really painful, as you can see, just to get your dependencies. Okay, let's do a little demo on the pods. So I've got this project, which is gonna see just. So we've got just a pie chart. If you're interested, it's on GitHub, just a pie chart component. And sorry? Oh, sorry. Will be better like that. Okay. Okay, so this is our code. So this is just a small component. We don't have no dependency. We've got some unit tests. We can talk a little bit about unit tests. There was an interesting question during John's talk about UI testing. So this code is test with unit tests. Why do we do that? So when I develop this component, my client asked me, okay, Remy, but I want you to develop a pie chart, but if there is, I don't want the label that intersect, of course, because it will be ugly. So he said, the smallest slice will get is the legend hidden. So I started to think about it, but for example, if you, for this slice, this label is shown here, but here we just move a little bit to the left. So there is a logic, which is not really difficult, but the whole logic has been developed without seeing any result in the simulator. I've just developed this with only TDD, and I think it took me something like 3 or 4 hours, and I think it would be really, really, really more without TDD. So if you're not convinced that TDD can help you with UI stuff, that's the proof that it really helps. So, okay, let's get back to bots. So, can you see or not? Can you read? Yeah, okay. So we can just create a bot here. So you can create bot directly from Xcode, which is something really cool. So we can say this one will be MCE test. You got to select your own scheme. You got to select the server. I've got this Mac is a server, so and I've got another at work. So let's start with this one. The schedule. The schedule is important. How often do you want your server to run the build. It can be every hour, every day, every week. It can be on commit or let's say manual, just when we push run button. So what do you want it to do? Do you want to analyze action? Yes. The test? Yeah. And the archive? We don't need the archive. Okay. That's a great feature. You can test it. Which device do you want to test on it? You can test on iOS device, which means all the device connected to your server. You can say all simulator, which can be a lot, or specific device. Let's choose specific device. So I've got only simulator displayed because I don't have any device connected. But otherwise, you could run your test on the connected device. So let's say just iPad, and that's it. If you want to get an email on success or failure. Okay, that's it. The bot is created. So now it's just integrated. Integrating means like running the build. So we can see it's here. So the server is checking the code, building it, and running the unit test. And we will see the result in a few seconds, I think. So as you can see, the creating a bot is something really simple. I can show you after how to create the server, but it's really simple too. So this is, okay, we've done. So you've got here your warning, which are here, and you've got the test results. If you click on the test results, we can see that we've got 34 tests, 3 are failing. So okay, let's go to see the tests that are failing. So here we got all the tests that pass. Okay, this one is failing. Maybe we can go to see why. So you just have to click and it will be open here. And this test is failing. So I really love that. This is really convenient and it's really nice to work with that kind of solution. You don't have that kind of stuff with other continuous integration solution. It's not integrated with Xcode. So this is really nice. So that's it for the bots. So you can, for example, you can have it like that. So this is the big screen of the bot. So if you want to display on at work on the big TV or stuff like that, this can be nice. But and you can monitor every bots from your browser. Sorry. So that is, it's really nice. You can create bot from browser to bot. Yeah. About the server part, so it's just an app. It's connecting to my server, and you've got Xcode. You say, okay, activate Xcode, and you can have here your repository. This is a repository on the server, and you can connect to remote repository on GitHub, for example, and that's it. So it's really simple, but only for small projects because, as I said before, if you don't commit your bot, it can be really messy. Okay, let's get back to PowerPoint. Okay, so we saw that. So with a little bit more build history, it's like that. So yeah, drill down directly to the code, and you can see everything in your browser. So bots are really great because they can be monitored from Xcode. The UX is really cool, and it's executed on a remote Mac. So when it's finished, you get the result back, and that's really nice. But there is a lot of bad things about bots. We've got lots of bugs. Fetching pods are really
painful. There is not at all third-party integration. So if you want to publish your app to your customer through through TestLite or OKApp, you just can't. I didn't succeed to archive an app. It was impossible. I tried something like 3 hours and nothing happened. So just for a simple app. And if you're fetching pods before integration, you need to create a specific scheme. So this is not really nice. Sometimes I just get that kind of email, a lot of email just at the same time, integration failed. Okay, I don't know why. So I think bots are at a too early stage. And what I don't like so much at bots, and it's only for iOS, but who is developing only iOS projects? I don't know, but not us. So you need to have, it's better, I think, to have a solution like Jenkins that you can monitor all your projects. It can be iOS, Android, backend, and all the other stuff. So let's talk a little bit about Sonar. Sonar is an open source platform of continuous inspection code. So it's not continuous integration, it's inspection code. So it will help you to manage the quality of your whole app during the development process. So it's really nice. The plugin for Objective-C just was launched something like 2 or 3 months ago. So it's quite new for Objective-C, but it comes from Java World. So you are able to see on your dashboard the number of line of code, the percentage of comments, the percentage of code duplication. That's great because if you drill down, you can see this code in this class is duplicate with this class, and you're able to manage this problem if you want. So now build your app, run your unit tests, and you will have the unit test coverage too. And what I really, really like is issue. Issues are really powerful. They are computed by Ocelint. Ocelint is another tools for code inspection on C, C++, and Objective-C. And it's helps you, for example, you can say, okay, this class is too long because it's more than 1,000 lines. This this method is too long because it's more than 50 lines. This line is too long because it's something like 100 characters. So it has to be. So Ocelint, its aim of Ocelint is to help you to debug, to find bugs just by static analysis. It will help you to find bugs just by finding some smells patterns. That's maybe this code smells, maybe you can improve it. That's the aim of Ocelint. About SonarCube, it can generate your documentation, run your unit test, and doing a lot of stuff like that. So it's more for just follow up the quality of your product while you are building it. So you've got the GitHub link to the Sonar plugin on Objective-C. And if you are on Android, I think it will work because it's on Java. So for us at Lima, we think the next step is about hardware. We want to run our unit tests, but more our integration tests. It has to run on hardware, we think, because often we'll be talked to the Lima, and it can talk to another Mac, to another Android. So for us, it's really crucial that our integration tests will run on the hardware. So that's what we are trying to plan. We're going to do in the next few months. At the moment, we don't have time because our priority is shipping the first version of Lima in spring, but after we're going to do that. So, conclusion. As I say, for me, bots is not really a good option. It's nice to play with it. Maybe it will be improved in the next version. But again, it will be only Apple for Apple. So, continuous integration is not a matter on iOS. It's a matter of just software. So, I think it's in your company, it's better to have a solution like Jenkins. It can be Jenkins or whatever, but a solution that when you can monitor all your project. So we see some improvements. This is Alex. Alex is our product guy at Metlima, and he always wanted to have the last version of the iOS app I'm developing. He say, "Oh, Remy, can I have the last version?" Every day comes to my desk and say. So it was a little bit boring, I think, for him to ask for always the last version of the app, and for me to just take his phone, launch the app on his phone, and giving back to him. So we just set up a build Alex that will deploy the app only on his iPhone, and now we can just have a look at the new feature every day, every minute if you want. So you can say, "Oh, Remy, you know that feature, maybe we can just change this." And it really helps us during the development process because I don't have to wait 2 weeks that
to urge that the feature should be implemented this way, or maybe we can move this button to this way. So it's really efficient because I've got the feedback right after the feature is developed. So that's the great thing. It's the same thing at Mythic. Mythic is a dating website. At 4 p.m., all the testers get a new build of the app. And for example, if there is a regression bug, they can come to say to the dev team, "Oh, I think there is a bug," and they're gonna fix it in 5 minutes because they just modify the code. So this really helps. Of course, continuous integration is great, but there is a cost. The estimate cost is about 8 to 10% of the project, so that's quite big, I think. 10% of a project of the time is really big, so that's the cost. But I think it's better to afford it because otherwise, in months, you will have more problem with your code. So I think it's a good thing to do, and I hope you're sharing this point of view with me. So thank you for listening. Thank you for MCE to organize all these things, and thank you for everything. If you got question.
So, wow, I'm very excited about Sonar bringing Objective-C in. But you said it's very new. How mature would you say that is? Is it like is it a beta plugin, or how does that work?
I don't think it's beta. One thing you don't. Have you heard about? Have you tried Sonar on other projects? Like no, okay. On most projects, you've got the complexity that is compute, and you can compute by methods or by file, which is really helpful to see. Oh, maybe there's too much complexity on that method or on that file. This is not yet available on iOS. Totally not. There's nothing. Unit tests and all the other stuff are really working well. So there's no problem with that. Counting line of code is the same. About the issues it's not a new project because they use OCLint, and OCLint is really powerful, so you won't have any problem with that. And you can configure everything from Sonar, so it's really perfect. You can configure Sonar, install and configure. I didn't. It was my first time to work with Sonar. I think in 3 hours it will be okay. You will have everything configured, so it's really easy. Other question?
You've said that there is 10% cost in using continuous integration. What this cost really is?
I mean, it really depends if you got your solution is in the cloud or you've got to maintain it. On our side, we prefer to maintain it because we want to have the whole control of all your project. We want the full control of that. So it costs a little bit because sometimes the Jenkins is down. You got to inspect why. Sometimes some plugins are messy and it's not doing whatever you want. Sometimes you say, okay, maybe we can just add a plugin, but adding a plugin after you got to compute some stuff, and it takes a little bit of time to just install everything, but after you got to maintain it. It's like software, you've got to maintain it, but I think the cost is affordable because for example, if you see code duplication, stuff like OCLint can work with, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that there is a Jenkins plugin for OCLint. This will give you real feedback on your code. So this is really helpful.
As I understand, you are using Jenkins. And did you expect any problems with configuring it with TestFlight, or are you using a different method to distribute the application to the client?
Do you have problem with Jenkins and TestFlight?
Not yet, but I think I will expect some problems.
It was something, yes, 1 year ago or 2 years ago, I don't know. I think TestFlight was crashing Jenkins. So the plugin TestFlight, because it couldn't upload the app. So we just so if the plugin doesn't work, you can just script it, and just buy a curl. So there is a curl on TestFlight documentation. So
if you don't have any problem with the curl. Yeah, there is one question there.
Yeah, so I have a question about the application deployment. So do you have any experience, trying to deploy the application to production? I mean, to the market, to the App Store, to
with Jenkins,
yes,
automated
with
build?
Jenkins to do the submission for a review.
There is no, Apple doesn't provide you a web service for that, so you can't do it. On the Android part, I don't know so much. Maybe if there are Android developers, they can answer. But on the Android part, I don't know. But for Apple, no. And I'm not submitting my apps every day. I'm submitting at the minimum one every month, but I think it's more like every 3 months. So it's not really an issue for me. I mean, but if you got to upload your apps every day, yeah, maybe. But and for other people, like if you're building a website, yeah, it's really easy to deploy in production, and that makes sense because sometimes if you're making on a big website, on for example Facebook, they just want to deploy sometimes just small bug fixes, and that makes sense to deploy every day. I heard maybe John can tell you that, but I don't know. I think it was at eBay. Some guys made something like 50 going to production per day. So there is a record like that. So I'm not sure if it's eBay or another company, but some company push a lot of codes in production per day. Yeah. No, it's not eBay. So it's not eBay. It's another company like that. So. Yeah.
No more questions?
Okay, thank you very much.